Let's jump into it, man. Street Fighter 6, 2 days away. The reviews are out, right? The embargoes are out from everything content creators that you know, that you probably follow, subscribe to, all that. And all kinds of review sites have just hit the streets, no pun intended there, to let us know what they thought about it. Just checking out this this subreddit post on our fighters. Just overall looking at just the reviews, some quick synapses from everywhere, from your Prima Games, Kotaku, Niche Gamer, Press Start, Push Square, Tech Raptor, a whole slew, all in here. But right now, man, the numbers are looking good. We're talking, I think 8.5 has been the lowest. Past that, like if 8.5 is the lowest, then we're averaging, I think the game's averaging a solid 9, right? Because there's all kinds of fucking arbitrary numbers, right? We got the 0 to 5, 0 to 100, 0 to 10, decimals, no decimals, recommended, not recommended. So you know, take it for what it is. But it's all really high. A lot of the reviews stating, you know, it's a long franchise that is coming back revitalized with a lot of content, the new controls, the accessibility, a lot of the key things I think Capcom was really trying to hit, right? Especially with New Blood directing this new entry into the series, right? This not a side game, not a little project, but an actual numerical entry to Street Fighter is an incredible amount of pressure to put on. But the New Blood that came in, the new producers, director and such, that, you know, and their team developing for like a newer audience, like it had to be done. One, like, I don't want to harp on it because, like, you know, I've said it in the past, I guess we had Ono and 5, and by partially, I want to say through, I think it's like 3/4 or almost halfway through 5's development, it was already kind of getting passed off to these new directors and producers. But Street Fighter 5 was already, like, the foundation was done, while 6 has been their baby from the start, right? Bringing more hip-hop elements into it, right? The way they wanted to show the aesthetics of the game, they wanted to take the direction of the art style, and then on top of that, you know, the controls and all. I think it was needed, man. If you wanted to catch the masses to the degree that like Street Fighter 4 did, you know, everyone always goes back to Street Fighter 2, but, you know, to Street Fighter 4, how it just kind of blew up the scene and really exposed it to everyone. This is kind of the new era of that happening, with Street Fighter as the spearhead, right? Like, you know, some could argue, oh, Strive, right? Guilty Gear Strive. I'm like, Strive was for another reason. Like, I don't think it spearheaded a revitalization, but Street Fighter 6 is gonna be the one to do that, because, you know, we have Street Fighter 6, we have Tekken, we have MK, Riot Game, we have like a slew of new generational games coming up. But I think Street Fighter 6 doing what it did best, which was just reinvent itself for a new audience. Like, you know, the numbers say it all. Not to say they're everything, but it's a good sign.
Numbers don't lie.
Numbers do not indeed lie.
If you know about Scott Steiner math, then you'll be down.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's not about the fighting game aspect anymore, which is great. It's what I kind of harped on for years, that fighting games can't be just fighting games. They have to have more to it. So this is the first time we're really, I wouldn't even say this is the first time, but this is the first time we're really seeing them kind of explore, at least Capcom, go back to exploring that concept of, hey, we do beat 'em ups, we do other types of games. Why aren't we like stretching out as much as we can, other than just making a bare bones fighting game? You know, that's kind of like a really bad concept right now, is making bare bones fighting game, because indie gamers are doing that, and that works for indie gamers. Big company AAAs, they can't do that anymore.
They need to offer more, right? You got those bigger budgets, you got that bigger staff, you got to do something with it, right? Indie gamers, like your comparison, it can work for them because they also try shit. They try drastically different things than what would be mainstream, and because they have the ability to, right? They don't have to have the financial, I don't say pressure or the obligation to have to make that, or backing, right? They could be just one person that's doing it, right?
I mean, you could just look at the Idle Fighter game. That's a good example. Like I said, I think it's a great concept. I think it's something that didn't require like a full-fledged massive team. But even look at Skullgirls. Skullgirls was like that too. They didn't really give you like this like crazy amount of stuff. They said, here's a story mode, and then like we're focusing on the fighting game, but we're an indie gaming company. Whereas you have these bigger companies like Arxis, who, you know, I loved when Blaze Blue was doing their whole Abyss mode and having the story mode and having all these little things. Even Guilty Gear having the survival mode where you had to play it to get, you know, the gold characters, and like I think it was Guilty Gear Reloaded, X Reloaded or something like that.
Double X and Reloaded, I think, had it.
Yeah, so it's like those were like
That was
little
highly
things
rated,
that
by
you
the way.
had to play.
Yeah, it was.
But like I'm saying, like like big companies can't do that anymore. Like they can still do it, but you need to add more. Like Mortal Kombat's a good example, Injustice was a good example, where they added more. Like I'd rather, like at one point I was like, dude, I want to play this story, but I could just go watch it, which is just as crazy. Like, right, you know, like if they would have added a movie segment where instead of playing the game after you've beaten it, or
just watch it.
Maybe you have friends. Yeah, you just watch the whole thing complete, and it felt like a TV show or a movie when I was watching it fully completed without having to play it. And I was like, this is amazing. They should do this more often, or release this, you know, a video like that after.
Yeah, I think you said the C word. That's like the key of it all. Is complete, like complete. That's like. That, not just, I want to say in fighting games, but like in the video game industry right now, has been a plague, right? Far few in between. Is there a game that you pay and you get your dollar for dollar value back in content, right? Versus like, oh, you got to pay the DLC or a future patch that's going to have even more stuff for you, right? Versus like on drop, this is going to like just blow your brains out, man, and just have all the content you're going to need to keep you occupied, right? And Street Fighter is just that, which is great. It's been quite some time, really, that I felt that way about the series, that it gave me more to do, and not just, once again, and they didn't just look at it in the competitive sense, right? In the casual sense. World Tour, I didn't look into like crazy deep into the reviews. I don't know how much. I would assume a lot of them went into World Tour, because I mean, you're not gonna go online, right? Like, it's not like the servers are up. But that concept, to just be able to give all that content in there, it's just like, it's just crazy to think that that's hard to come through, right? It's hard to find on a regular video game, let alone a fighting game. So to see a game like this just get such high praise, you know, get those high scores, once again, you know, you make your own decisions if you like Street Fighter 6 at the end of the day. But the consensus from the people that are doing this for a living, try to look at this objectively as possible, are not invested like how we are in, say, the competitive scene, and maybe not as invested into the casual scene. You know, they're rating it this high. It's like, I mean, we already know we like it. They already got our money. It's not really for us to that you have to sell it to, right? I'm pretty sure, I want to say 2 out of the 3 people here probably already got the game on pre-order on Steam right now. I say 2 out of 3 because I keep forgetting to grab mine.
Oh, I was like, who's the third person?
I keep going to get it. Like, I have to get my deluxe version. I keep forgetting. I'm like, oh yeah, I got it in my cart, and I'm like, I gotta check out. Like, I gotta spend the 70. Okay, maybe 1 out of 3.
You didn't pre-order. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I always have this thing with Street Fighter where I'm like, I'll just buy it. Like, I always buy it, and then I'm just like, 4 months later, I'm like, was that a good purchase? I gotta think about that. Was that a good purchase? And I'm like, okay, maybe it slightly was, but I think this time around, if anybody was really hesitant, I think this would be the purchase out of all the past maybe few years. I think Street Fighter 4, you could have held out on. Well, I mean, because that was new. That was like the next generation. 5, you probably could have held out on until like a few seasons later. Street Fighter 6, I don't think you should hold out. I think you should, you know, I'm hearing casuals even get into it, like, you know,
jump in.
I had my nephews getting into it, so
jump in now while we're all fresh, while we're all learning. If you don't want to get left behind, it sucks to say that. I mean, you can always pick it up, but it's just like when you pick it up, the learning curve is going to be a little harder because everyone's already like leveled up so much that when you eventually want to play online or something, your chances are you're probably going to get whooped faster. But it's fine. Expect to lose. You know, it's one of the fundamentals. Expect to lose. Go into a match expecting, not to say expected to lose, but don't fear losing is the biggest thing to take away. That lesson is going to be amazing for so many people to learn with this game.
I would say learn that World Tour mode first, because that's mostly on modern. then you can get used to those controllers. And
Absolutely.
then you're like, wait, I can do these moves with this move and do that to that and learn the game from this to there and still play online, which I think was super smart and why they did it.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so Street Fighter 6, Spider-Verse coming out. Anyway, 2 days to launch. I don't know who here's requested off, but I know I'm gonna be off. I know I'll be off. I'll be day uno. I'll be in here.
My computer is right next to me while I work, so
I do have to check the PC benchmark on my computer. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm fine, but it'll be fun to be like, oh, 100 out of 100.